Hey guys, welcome to the 101 in 10, where you get to see your favorite indie artists from around the world 101 in 10 minutes. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson, and I'm back with a new artist for this week. So he is the singer-songwriter. He tells his story through poetry and music, and he is just this phenomenal artist who just really does a lot of storytelling about love and believing and just kind of motivating yourself through your own personal struggles that we all can relate to. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Matt Fawcett. Yay!
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for being on the show. So can you tell me and the fans, how did you get started in the industry and who were your musical influences?
Yeah, so I got started as a kid. My mom wanted all of her kids. So I have three sisters, and we all had to learn how to play piano.
Oh, wow.
And I took 7 years of piano lessons, and I hated every single second of it. And I feel really bad. In fact, I still apologize to my piano teacher when I see her, because I was the worst student. She won't admit that I was, but I know for a fact that I was. But I just begged my parents to give me a guitar. And for my 11th birthday, they finally did. And from that point on, I played and taught myself as much as I possibly could. And that was definitely like my instrument that I loved. And about
Wow.
3 weeks after getting my guitar, the youth leaders at my church were like, "Hey, do you want to play worship this week?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know three chords. Let's do it." It was probably the worst musical representation that anybody's heard, because it was literally like, put my fingers where the chords need to go, strum, sing the entire line, put my fingers back where they need to go, strum, sing the
Oh.
line, move up the transparency. Like, it was bad. Um, but since then I've been, playing guitar, and then my piano teacher, who was really supportive, kind of worked with my parents and said, "Hey, like, since he loves playing guitar and you want him to keep doing music stuff, what if we had every other lesson be piano and then guitar, but we'll take some of the poetry that he's been doing and we'll marry that to music, and then that way he can start doing songwriting stuff." And so that's kind of how a lot of that began, was working with my piano teacher on creating chord structures for music, and then putting those chords to the poetry stuff that I'd already been doing, and then just kind of took off from there, writing my own stuff.
That is so awesome to hear about how your piano teacher was able to kind of marinate the two influences together with piano and guitar. And it is also good to see that she saw how passionate you were about the music that you loved, even though you were kind of like I really didn't want to play piano, but it was something that, gave you the groundwork and foundation for, your guitar, which is great.
Yeah.
And of course you had that poetry element as well. So let's talk
Mhm.
about a little bit about your challenges and your success, because we know as being independent artists, we have our challenges in the industry trying to really, brand ourselves. And we also have our success stories as well. So can you tell me one of both?
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest challenge right now is holding the weight of, is this actually working? And the minor successes in the same day together. So I quit my full-time job and pursued doing music about a year ago. And we knew, my wife and I have got four kids, that this was going to be a run up of, we're going to go for it and give it everything that we have, because I feel really passionate about being able to use music to reach and connect with people. Tagline that I have is, using music to comfort the afflicted and confront the comfortable. And I really believe that that's what I was designed and created to do. So on a daily basis, I have moments of, am I really being a good husband and father and supporting my family financially by doing and chasing after this dream, married along with, I feel like the dominoes are starting to fall. So, like, trying to balance those two realities of, like, the longer that you pursue something and the more that you go after a dream, the more that you believe it yourself,
Mhm,
that this is
mhm.
really what you're called and designed to do, the easier it is to look at the minor failures of, well, that booking fell through, or I'm not selling as much merch as I wanted to, or I didn't connect with as many people as I wanted to at the show. You can balance those minor failures, or the things that seem to keep pushing you down, with the daily successes of, Yeah, but I'm doing better than I did yesterday. And I'm connecting with at least one more person, and I'm sharing my music with more people. And the small things, yeah, yes, that booking totally failed or didn't happen, but that leaves an opportunity open to be able to try to connect with more people or in a different way. And so the small successes that I've had is literally just every time I get a chance to do a show in front of new people, just totally excites me. And I got a chance this year to actually fly out to Idaho, which is crazy
Wow.
because I'm from Northern Indiana. And so being able to go all the way out there to go headline a small Christian festival that was just starting up was like, sweet, let's do it. This is gonna be
Great.
great.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I love the fact that, you know, you have this tenacity and this drive about your music, and but also you have this humbleness, and you're very balanced and grounded in who you are as an artist, and then also as a husband and as a father as well. And I think a lot of times as artists it's hard for us to balance the hats that we wear, but
Yeah.
also still do the things that we are passionate about and having a desire. And it's great that you were able to quit your job and kind of just go forward with it because that's your passion.
Yeah, I knew that I couldn't be honest with my kids if I was going to tell them, follow your dreams. We'll, find what you're passionate about and how that can serve other people, and we'll help you figure out how to make a living doing it. I knew I couldn't be honest with them and tell them that with a straight face, knowing that I wasn't willing to do the same thing. And so they actually get to see me and my wife literally like walk this journey with them and figure out, hey, like if you really are passionate about something and you can find a way to serve other people, there is a way to be able to provide for the people that you need to provide for. And it doesn't, there's a really good book I read a while back called Real Artists Don't Starve. And just because you're an artist doesn't mean that you can't make any money doing what you're doing. It's just figuring out like, okay, how does what I provide to people of value allow them to be able to reciprocate and be able to support me continuing to do that for other people as well. And that's what we get a chance to figure out as artists.
That's great that you say that because I think a lot of times, especially younger artists or people that get into the industry, even when they're older, think that, you can't make any revenue or money
Mhm.
being an underground artist. And I have spoken to so many artists over the years of being in this industry that there's artists who are underground who make really good living. And there's definitely a population of people or audience and target market who wants to see underground artists because the authenticity is not lost, and you get your own type of sound, and you're not sounding like everything that you usually hear on the radio. And I think that's what makes independent artists who are signed and unsigned so special and unique, that you can
Mm.
still create your own type of lane and be able to brand yourself as who you are and not what they want you to be.
Yeah. And making money isn't dirty. It's not like you're selling yourself out. You're literally
Right.
just people the opportunity to support what you're doing for them so you can do it
Mhm.
for other people too.
Yep. Now, how did you come up with the title, Comforting the Afflicted and Confronting the
Comfortable?
Comfortable?
Yeah, so that came from a youth pastor of mine
Oh.
that I had when I was in high school. And he said the best thing that we can do is try to learn how to comfort the afflicted and confront the comfortable.
Hmm.
Usually, comforting the afflicted is kind of the easy part. You look for people who are in pain, have a disaster of their own or sorrow, and love them and reach out into them. That's the easy part. The comforting the comfortable or confronting the comfortable. The hard part about that is a lot of times the comfortable looks like me. It's somebody who is, just cruising on through life. Everything's great, but we need to figure out ways to be able to encourage people to serve others. So it's not so much like I'm going to stand up and tell you exactly what you need to do and you're doing all this wrong. It's more or less like, hey, if you've been blessed or you are in a spot in your life to where you've got excess or margin, like how are you using that margin to
Mhm.
go and comfort the people who are afflicted in this world, because everybody's dealing with something.
I love it.
It doesn't have to be, hashtag first world problems or like, life is falling apart. But if we can all look at our lives in a way that says, hey, I'm either reaching out and assisting other people or I'm allowing other people to assist me, that's this beautiful marriage of just being able to figure out how to live and create community where all of us are unique and different. And really our differences are what allow us the ability to give gifts to one another because we're not all the same. And sameness isn't the goal. The goal is to have uniqueness in being able to come together with our uniqueness and still be able to live and do life together.
And that's what makes your music so awesome. I love about it because you have this very different way of getting your message across to the people. And I love to hear from you, Matt, that you have this, this gift of being able to say, hey, we're all go through issues, we all go through problems. And I think a lot of times on social media or what we see, we think everyone is having a good life and living their life really well. And let me tell you something, party people, there's people on social media that are not living a good life. They're just letting you know or letting you see what they want you to see. They're not showing you the other, they're not showing you the ugly. And I think a lot of times we get a very warped perception of other people's life, and we tend to compare ourselves to other people as well, just as human beings, we do that. But I love the fact that you have this album and it really talks and speaks to anybody walk of life, whether you're a believer or not. So guys, you definitely have to check out his new album. Now let's talk about the song I Believe. How did
Yes.
you come up how did you come up with the title of that song and the lyrics and the video I love? So where did you take that video at?
So the video was shot literally in my backyard.
Oh wow.
So my wife and I live out on about 5 acres, and we kind of borrowed the field behind our house. But I knew I needed to do a music video for it. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I need to get this done today. And she's like, okay, cool. What do you have in mind? Like, I don't know. So that was her doing all the videography for that and me just kind of directing of like, I think this shot will work.
Mhm.
But the whole idea of the song was, I think when we come to trials in our lives or things that are not going well, it can either make us lean into our beliefs or pull away from them and change them. And I really do feel like, I mean, the opening line of, can't we all just be honest and know we're not okay? I think a lot of what we learned through the past couple of years of society was, we can put on a front and say that everything's fantastic and what's wrong with you if you aren't having a fantastic life. But if we all are really truly honest with ourselves, we're all broken in some manner, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be the same brokenness as somebody else. But as long as we can admit that we're all broken, I think that allows us to come together and realize that, we can't see everything that's happening. We can't see what's happening in other people's lives. We can't see the world through their eyes. And I think it's pretty arrogant to be able to look and say like, oh, I know exactly what you're going through and I've never been there, or I know exactly what this is going on, or this is the only way that has to happen. Because quite honestly, like there are so many different perspectives and lives that are lived that we really need to come to the point of like, what really is, the same about all of us is we're broken on different levels. And once we admit that, then we can learn how that brokenness allows us to be able to communicate and connect instead of just trying to tell everybody like, oh, well, you have to believe this. And I truly do believe there is hope for society. And I think that, we can walk and live in this world together without having to believe everything 100% the same, all because we can look at it with a caring perspective of we're broken and we need each other in order to be able to create community that we can live and walk in this world together.
Love it. Now tell the fans, how can they come and see you for upcoming show? And they got a couple shows in October.
Yeah. So my website is mattfawcettmusic.com. Fawcett spelled just like Farah. However, no relation, unfortunately. But I have all of my show dates that are on there and is always updated and available. And then of course, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So try to do the best that I can to try to communicate with everybody what's going on in my life and show, the positives, and also, be real with, there are times where things don't always go great. I lose my voice or, something else happens.
Correct.
And, I try to share all of my life as much as I possibly can.
And that's what makes you such this authentic and real artist, because you're just letting people see the good, bad, and ugly, and that's what makes you this great artist. I really enjoyed this interview. You have this authenticity about your brand and about your life, and kudos to you with your new career. I'm just gonna speak some things into existence. You're gonna do great in 2023. And shout out to your wife as well. She is a great photographer. Oh my gosh, amazing video. Guys, make sure you check it out. And thank you for watching the 101 in 10, where you get to see your favorite artists from around the world, 101 in 10 minutes. Again, I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of our show. Take care of yourself, guys, and see you soon. Bye.